The journey to mitigate bias within ourselves and our societies is far more complex than simply deciding to be fair. A common and intuitive approach is to raise awareness, to shine a light on the hidden prejudices that influence our judgments and actions. We attend trainings, read books, and strive to recognize these automatic patterns, believing that consciousness is the first and most crucial step toward change. However, this very process of awareness contains a paradoxical trap. Focusing intensely on our biases can, counterproductively, make them more salient and mentally accessible, effectively strengthening the neural pathways we wish to dismantle. It is akin to being told not to think of a white bear. The instruction guarantees the bear's presence in the mind. When we constantly monitor ourselves for racist, sexist, or ageist thoughts, we may inadvertently reinforce the categories and stereotypes we aim to reject, seeing them more readily in the world and within ourselves, which can lead to frustration, backlash, or a sense of hopelessness. This reveals a fundamental truth: bias is not merely a set of incorrect ideas to be deleted, but a collection of deeply ingrained habits of mind. These habits are formed over a lifetime, woven into our subconscious by cultural narratives, media, family teachings, and historical structures. They operate like well-worn trails in a forest, the easiest and most automatic paths for our thoughts to travel. Trying to stop a habit through sheer willpower and vigilance is notoriously difficult, as anyone who has tried to quit snacking or nail-biting can attest. The mind, under stress or distraction, defaults to its familiar routes. Therefore, the goal cannot be a sterile, bias-free mind, an impossible ideal, but rather the conscious cultivation of new, better habits of thought that can eventually override the old ones. Effective intervention, then, moves beyond diagnosis to active replacement. It involves acknowledging the existence of the old trail while deliberately and consistently practicing the creation of a new one. This means not just saying don't stereotype, but proactively seeking out and internalizing counter-stereotypical examples. It involves the deliberate practice of individuation, making the effort to see people as complex individuals with specific stories, motivations, and contexts, rather than as representatives of a group. For instance, when cut off in traffic, the automatic habit might be to label the other driver as reckless or rude. The new habit involves pausing to generate alternative explanations. Perhaps they are rushing to an emergency, or they simply didn't see you. This isn't about making excuses for poor behavior, but about interrupting the snap judgment to allow for more nuanced understanding. The work extends from the individual to the systemic. Our mental habits are reinforced and mirrored by the environments we inhabit, our workplaces, schools, and institutions. A diversity workshop that only highlights problems without providing tools for new behaviors or changing the underlying structures is like a doctor diagnosing a disease without offering a treatment plan. Lasting change requires altering the contexts that trigger biased habits in the first place. This can involve implementing structured, anonymized hiring processes to short-circuit initial snap judgments, creating clear, criteria-based frameworks for promotions, or redesigning physical spaces to be more inclusive. When the environment expects and supports new ways of interacting, the individual's task of habit change becomes easier and more sustainable. Ultimately, the end goal is not a colorless world where differences are ignored in the name of neutrality, which often just masks the dominance of a default perspective. True progress lies in building a culture where difference is valued and engaged with curiosity and respect. It is about moving from tolerance to appreciation, from automatic reaction to conscious connection. This is a gradual, lifelong practice of rewiring, requiring patience, compassion for oneself and others, and a commitment to building systems that nurture our better selves. The path forward is not through a fierce war against our own minds, but through the persistent, gentle cultivation of better alternatives, until those new paths become the mind's natural and welcoming direction.